this, we miss unknowable opportunities for connection, serendipity, and everyday adventure in our own lives, for the mind has gone somewhere the body cannot follow. We give away freely that most precious of resources, our attention, and in doing so, we cheat ourselves out of the gifts that are already here. Many of us can't make a move without stressing about what others will think. We sit in line waiting for permission from somebody else, all the while worrying about things that haven't yet happened. We tell ourselves stories about our limits, downplaying where we measure up and overplaying where we fall down. When we dare to imagine following our dreams, we're surrounded by so many manicured images of success we start wondering whether there's any room left for us. Countless broken dreams lie scattered across the world for no reason other than someone compared themselves to someone else and thought, I'm not good enough. The upshot of this crisis of confidence is, at best, inertia. Somewhere along the line, someone started a rumour that happiness lies in the accumulation of things, money, power and status, all the while looking young, pretty and skinny, or young, handsome and strong. But when we measure our lives with other people's yardsticks, opening ourselves up to the tyranny of should, we put ourselves under immense pressure to achieve and do and own stuff we don't really care about. This desire for more affects our behaviour, our decision-making, and the way we feel about ourselves, not to mention the impact on our planet. Whatever we have or become, it's not enough, or so we're led to believe. And here's the real irony. What we outwardly push for is often very different to what we inwardly long for. We've come to a point where we need to pause, take a look around, and decide for ourselves what really matters. Wabi-sabi can help us do this, which makes this centuries-old teaching more relevant than ever today. A new way. What we need right now is a new way of seeing the world and our place within it. We need new approaches to life's challenges. We need tools for intentional and conscious living and a framework for deciding what really matters to us so we can move on from the constant desire for more, better, best. We need to find ways to slow down so life doesn't rush right past us. We need to start noticing more beauty to lift our spirits and keep us inspired. We need to give ourselves permission to let go of judgment and the endless pursuit of perfection. And we need to start seeing each other and ourselves for the perfectly imperfect treasures that we are. All of this that we so desperately need can be found in the philosophy of Wabi-sabi. Not because it solves the surface problems, but because it can fundamentally shift the way we see life itself. Wabi-sabi teaches us to be content with less, in a way that feels like more. Less stuff, more soul. Less hustle, more ease. Less chaos, more calm. Less mass consumption, more unique creation. Less complexity, more clarity. Less judgment, more forgiveness. Less bravado, more truth. Less resistance, more resilience. Less control, more surrender. Less head, more heart. Wabi-sabi represents a precious cache of wisdom that values tranquility, harmony, beauty, and imperfection, and can strengthen our resilience in the face of modern ills. Importantly, accepting imperfection doesn't mean having to lower standards or drop out of life. Letting go of what you think should be does not mean giving up on what could be. It means not judging yourself for being who you are, perfectly imperfect, at once uniquely you and just like the rest of us. Put simply, Wabi-sabi gives you permission to be yourself. It encourages you to do your best, but not make yourself ill in pursuit of an unattainable goal of perfection. It gently motions you to relax, slow down, and enjoy your life. And it shows you that beauty can be found in the most unlikely of places, making every day a doorway to delight. Chapter 2. Simplifying and Beautifying. Given Japan's mountainous nature, with forests, fields and agricultural land covering some 80% of the country, it's no surprise that the nation's urban areas are crowded. Tokyo has a population of over 13 million, with more than 6,000 people per square kilometre. As a result, the Japanese have become masters of small space architecture and styling. Personal space is limited, and in recent years, clutter has become as much of a challenge for Japanese people as it has for many of us in other nations. Perhaps this is why they've become so adept at organisation and storage, why Muji, literally no label, is a high street favourite, and why Marie Kondo is a household name. However, don't be fooled into thinking that most Japanese people now live in tatami-matted rooms devoid of stuff. They don't. While the overall concept of minimalism has had a transformative impact for many, it can end up being another kind of perfection. It's one more opportunity to beat yourself up for not doing something right, and frankly, it's exhausting. Perhaps you're like me. You like the philosophy of minimalism and have entertained dreams of a perfectly tidy home, but found that disciplined minimalism doesn't really work for you because you have children, pets, a hectic lifestyle, a weird fetish for antique teapots, more books than your local library, or some other reason that makes you run from perfectly organised sock drawers. Or perhaps you rent and are limited in terms of how you're allowed to alter your living space. Or maybe you're on a tight budget and think that a welcoming home is for people with more disposable income. Or maybe you're just busy and it feels like such an effort to go through everything. If any of this sounds familiar, the alternative soulful simplicity might just be for you. Soulful simplicity is my name for decluttering and styling your home with love, without making it clinically minimal or trying too hard. It's a way of organising and personalising your space, which makes your home welcoming and beautiful while still feeling lived in. A wabi-sabi lens can inspire us to embrace soulful simplicity and treasure what we already have. There is a lovely phrase in Japanese, igokochi ga yoi. The kanji literally means being here, heart, place, good, and it's used to describe a feeling of comfort, a feeling at home. I like to think of it as a place for a happy heart. That's what we want to create with soulful simplicity. Your home, your space. The spaces in which we live influence the way in which we live and how we feel as we go about our daily lives. If we want to live differently, changing our environment and the details of our living spaces can play a major role in making a shift. Our homes can be sanctuaries, gathering places, repositories of love and laughter, solitude and rest. They can be grounding, comforting, inspiring and relaxing. Our homes are where our stories are written, and they have the potential to enhance our experience of the everyday. The beauty of soulful simplicity is that it can help us make any dwelling, regardless of size or budget, a lovely place to be. This comes as a relief to those of us who swoon over design magazines and lose hours on Pinterest and Instagram, but have that niggling feeling that our homes will never quite look like that. Wabi Sabi reminds us that they are not supposed to look like that. Homes are for living in, and living is not a perfectly tidy affair. The good news is that the chaos of real life, edited a little, can reveal a lot. Most of us already have the makings of a welcoming space. With just a little time and attention, your home can become a sanctuary, reflecting what really matters to you. Taking inspiration from the traditional tea room, the embodiment of Wabi Sabi, we can envision a clean, simple, uncluttered space. It's about deciding what to retain and what to release, what to show and what to store, what to tinker with and what to treasure. You don't need to wait for the perfect time, when you have the money to redecorate, when your children have left home, or when you finally got time to sort every drawer and cupboard. You can begin today, right where you are. This is not a set of rules, it's a set of ideas and questions for you to consider in order to do it your way. The emotional connection. The truth is, many of us have houses filled with clutter, even though we don't like it. We buy stuff when we don't need it. We tell ourselves we really should get everything in order, and then we switch on the TV instead. Over the years, in my work with people trying to make major life changes, decluttering has always been a significant part of their journey. As they begin to release more and more stuff, they begin to notice the releasing of negative thought patterns, feelings of insufficiency, allegiances to busyness, attachments to past versions of themselves, and desires for a life that is not connected to who they are or what they really value. This is where Wabi Sabi really comes in. When you realize you're perfectly imperfect just